Hey everybody, hopefully your day is going great. I found another vendor flip. I don't know if it's really very viable. Um, Part of the problem with it is that it's really time consuming and you have to rely on twilight bark. You can buy that at the a vendor for like 50 silver, but it's a limited supply. Occasionally what I've been doing is if I see it on the auction house really cheap. Some people will, post like 1,000 of them for, like a gold or a gold and a half or something like that. So, uh, but the reason why this is somewhat viable is because so like if I'm crafting, I just crafted 100 of the porous polishing abrasive. Let me go down to that. So TSM is saying that it crafts 2 and the crafting cost is 10. However, what happens is you make a little bit extra each time uh, you make some. So, and if you actually go to uh, Blizzard's UI, it says it makes 2 to 3. So what I ended, instead of having 200, I had 251. So that comes out to be about 1.25 uh, per craft extra. So one thing I've done is go into here to materials, porous stone. So porous stone is, I've paid like 10 gold average for it. So on the uh, polishing abrasive, this is really cheap anyway, so it's not that big a deal. So what I do is I just tack on a little crafting divided by 1.25 because that's the extra that I'm getting. The same thing happens with let me go back to the same thing happens with like the worm fed assembly. You make 1 to 2. A handful of lay stripe bolts, you make 1 to 2. And in TSM, the let me find it here real quick. Parts. I can't ever find these. So this is saying, hey, well, 1 lay stripe ore creates 1 lay stripe bolt, but in actuality, it's like 1.5. So when you add all that together, so and you can see what I'm doing here is lay stripe ore is 4.23. I'm dividing that by 1.5 to come up with 2.82 for my cost. So all that stuff kind of adds together. Same thing with well, let me just double check what this uses. So it uses a mortal coiled spring, and same thing with mortal coiled spring. You make about 1.5. Um, so we kind of get into this whole vendor flip, and like I said, it's not really that viable if you've got lots of time or a second account. It's something you can maybe have going off in the background. But basically, I'm making about, so my crafting cost is 65 gold. The cost of this is 92 gold. What's that? I can't do math in my head quickly, but roughly about 30 gold, depending on what your price is for Twilight Bark. If you can get it at 50 silver, that would be great. But like I said, you can maybe go to the vendor every once in a while and pick up some, but you're not going to get enough quantity to make this a great flip or anything like that. So it's just kind of more to keep in mind. But the other advantage too is that when you're crafting some of your other items that use like lay stripe bolts or worm fed gear assembly or mortal coil or whatever, what you're going to want to do is so let me go into the worm fed one here. For now, until it gets changed, you want maybe to change your string to be like a crafting divided by 1.5 instead of the normal crafting, at least until TSM fixes their calculations, and I'm not sure if they're going to or not, because and like maybe the grand scheme of things, it doesn't make that big of a difference. But it can be that you can make items much cheaper than, or your actual crafting costs are a lot cheaper than what TSM is reporting. So you can maybe so if you want to post stuff at really really low, or if somebody's posting stuff really low, you might actually be able to go lower because it's still under your crafting costs. So that's pretty much it for this video. I hope you benefit from it. But then again, like it takes a long time to craft these. You need to make all the lace stripe bolts. You need to make the polished abrasive, the mortal coil spring. So it's super long involved, and it's one of those things where for me, I'm just using it to kind of consume up a bunch of extra lace stripe ore. So I've got 36,000 of it right now. So I'm just using it to get rid of that. And anyway, all right. Thanks everybody. Take care.